Greetings once again to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video is being shared. Tis I, Celine Driver again, bringing you Watches for Life number 15. I thought I would do an idea that I had based on another video I saw. I can't remember who made it, but it was an interesting idea of what are called trifectas, groups of three, if you will. And I thought to myself, there are probably some guys out there who will see this video and other videos of mine that are thinking about starting to collect watches, and they look for suggestions. Certainly I did way back when. Actually, a couple friends of mine, online friends of mine, like Chris from Watch Lounge and Devor, my favorite Croatian, and Neil, who is an admin on the Facebook Kickstarter and Microbrand Horology group, where I'm a moderator. They've all, in one way or another, along with Tristano, the Urban Gentry channel, have influenced some of what I've done, and then I've taken that information along with what I like and built a collection, which you can see in other videos of mine if you care to watch. And I thought I might do the same. Maybe I could help somebody. So I've done three categories of watches that I have. I have dress business watches, which are over here. I have everyday watches, which are over here. And I have my favorite grouping, the one that is the most dominant in my collection, dive watches, over here. Now, obviously, I'm not much of a diver, but in fact, I'm not a diver anymore. But I love dive watches. Anyway, I thought I'd go over some ideas for watches in these groups, tell you why I like them and why I think they would be good starter watches for a collection. We'll start over here with dress formal, dress business watches. Watches that need to be worn in a less than casual setting. So something that looks the part. Now I don't have any. Well, no, that's not true. I have one dress watch, which I'm not going to put up on video for my own personal reasons. But I really don't have any dress watches per se. I just have watches that look like they belong in more of a semi-formal or business setting. And I'll start with a Zelos. This is a Helmsman 2. It is technically a dive style watch. It does have a dive style bezel, which is manipulated with the upper crown. Once you unscrew it, you can set it like a dive watch to track your bottom time, and you can lock it down. Of course, owing to the nature of the crown, it's going to move while you lock it down with the screw. It has a meteorite face. It has a very simple dial with a date complication, very small one at the 3 o'clock position. Leather strap. So obviously if you wanted to take it diving, you would probably put on a rubber strap or a bracelet. But in its current state in my collection, it makes a very nice casual dinner or wear to the office kind of watch. Looks really nice, and very subtle, but very good looking watch. Now I realize I said trifecta, which means three, but I couldn't decide between my two Waldorfs, my two Multimatics, my diamond silver, my royal blue, with the Roman numeral faces The very nice, elegantly done complications for power indicator, day of the week, month, date, and the 24-hour indicator at the 6 o'clock. I mean, now they're a little bit thick to be dress watches, but they will make excellent watches in an office setting or going out to dinner scenario. Especially the silver one would look really good on going out to dinner with like a casual blazer or something like that. This would look great in the office. But very reasonably priced. All of these watches are fairly reasonably priced. I don't know what the availability of a Helmsman 2 is, but the price is well under $1,000. So very affordable. I believe I haven't checked current pricing on these, but they're available for well under $1,000 as well. I believe even right around the 600 mark. But don't quote me on that. I just pop over to Waldorf's website and check pricing. But reasonably priced, gorgeous watches would look great in a business or semi-dress environment. And then I have something a little old school. I have my vintage 1969 69 Accutron Astronaut, and it's a GMT, so it would make a really nice travel watch as well. As you know, Accutrons are not quartz watches. They predate quartz. They are electric watches or electronic watches. They use a tuning fork. Refer back to one of my other videos where I've showcased the Accutron Space View that I love. That's probably a great example of a dress watch that I have. Yeah, that would be a dress watch. I should probably have put that in the collection of this, but I had just featured it in my number 14 Watches for Life video, so I thought I'd change it up a bit. Battery operated, very easy to change batteries. All you need is a dime and patience. Crown is back here. This is the crown actually, so it's a very clean look here. As I said, it's a GMT, so it would make a great travel watch as well, so you can keep track of 2 time zones. The bezel moves. It is bidirectional. And with the Jubilee bracelet, it really looks the part. And it's thin enough that it will fit under a cuff. It's a little on the small side owing to the fact that it is almost 50 years old and from a completely different era. But a nice watch. And collecting Accutrons is a great horological, historical thing, but you have to be very careful about who you buy them from. Buying Accutrons off eBay can be hit or miss. Ask me how I know, because some of those don't work, but a watch like this that you get from a reputable service guy / seller such as Bob Piker at mybob.net will ensure that you get not only a well serviced watch but also a well restored one. Moving on. By the way, the Accutrons are not cheap, but when they work, they are worth the money. So moving on, we now move from the dress business trifecta, or quadfecta, if you will, to the everyday watch. Now, I have a good number of everyday watches, but I picked these 3 for good reasons. For one thing, here's my Citizen Nighthawk. This is a Blue Angels version. They have different versions. I happen to like this one because it is absolutely beautiful. And much respect to the Blue Angels in particular and the United States Air Force for protecting and serving. It is a pilot's watch. It has the bi-directional pilot's bezel, which I don't know how to use, and probably won't learn how to use. It is set currently to New York City or East Coast United States time zone. It's fully charged. It is a solar watch, so once it gets going, just give it light and it will run forever. Well, maybe not forever, but 24-hour indicator here. No, 24-hour indicator here. This is, I forgot, quite honestly. This dial shows the different functions that the watch is set to. In this case, it's set to calendar, which you can see right now. It's August 22nd. It's a Wednesday, and if I played with the pushers, you would see the year. It is updated via radio signal. There are 4 different radio signals it can read from. In the United States, it will read from an observatory in Colorado, and it will automatically set time, day, date, year, day of the week, month, day, date, etc., etc. So it's not really a high maintenance watch. It's basically a set and forget. Every week or so, maybe you might want to trigger the radio update just to make absolutely sure you're accurate. It is a quartz movement. I believe it's a 5-year battery. You can get these on eBay for well under $500, even brand new. The only problem I have, and it might be particular to my ownership, is inside my house, the radio updating doesn't work. I've held it next to every window in my house. I've stood in every room of my house, and the radio update won't work. The only way I can get it to work is to go outside on my front porch and put it on the railing and leave it there, and it will update. But it has to go outside to do it. So, bit of a pain in the butt, but otherwise, great everyday, daily wear watch. It's going to be accurate and beautifully made. My Glycine is a great everyday watch. Why? Well, never mind the fact that the color scheme speaks to me at a certain level. I think I've gone over this over and over again. This is my Gator watch, my second Gator watch. Florida Gators, orange, blue. Big fan for most of my life, so this color combination will always speak to me. But leaving that aside, the Glycine Combat Sub is a fantastic looking watch, dive style watch. In fact, it is a dive watch, but it is an incredibly thin dive watch. Even for its, I believe it's a 200-meter watch. But look how thin it is. Look how wonderfully the lugs hug the wrist. And it's incredible. This is one of the most comfortable watches I own. You could wear this all day. You'd forget it's on there except for the beautiful color scheme. But it wears beautifully on my wrist. Now, admittedly, I have good sized wrists, so I'm not worried about it being too big. The band is very comfortable, very smooth, does not weigh a lot. With the clasp is solid, it's not going anywhere. Even the crown, even though it sticks, I have it unscrewed. I always unscrew all my screw down crowns because I wind the watches so much. I don't want to strip a screw. But even with it open, it doesn't interfere with the wrist where I generally place my watches about here. It doesn't interfere here. It's gorgeous, it's easy to read, it's lightweight, and it is a great way to start a watch collection with Glycine. Even though they're now owned by Invicta, and Invicta invokes chuckles from a lot of watch people. Glycine is not Invicta. It doesn't matter that. For instance, Ferrari is owned by Fiat. And Fiat in the United States has a horrible reputation, yet they can't sell enough Ferraris out there. So, just because a company is owned by another company doesn't mean it's all bad. And another Zelos. Do you get the feeling that I love Zelos? I do. I am an unabashed Zelos fanboy. And this particular, and I love the Hammerhead. It's wonderfully thick, chunky watch. And I love a big, thick, chunky watch. I mean, I always have. But this particular watch as a daily wear watch is great for that because it's a titanium watch. The band is titanium, the case is titanium. It's all titanium. Meteorite face. It's light compared to the other Hammerheads. And it wears beautifully. I mean, it's got a very short overhang. And it just wears very nicely, and it makes a great everyday watch. And most Zelos Hammerheads are still available. They're reasonably priced. They're under $1,000, and they make a great way to start a collection. I just love Zelos. I mean, it's a quality watch using Swiss movements, except for this one. This one, I believe, uses the NH 35 from Seiko, but most of the other ones use Swiss movements. I know this one, the Helmsman, uses a Swiss movement. Most of the other Hammerheads do. I believe this one started using Seiko movements, but the NH35 is indestructible, and anyone and their grandmother can service the damn thing, so not a bad choice for an everyday. And then we go over here to the dive watches. Now, dive watches are a big collectible group or subgroup. I started my collecting with dive watches. As a matter of fact, I started my collecting with this dive watch. And when you look up dive watch in the dictionary, there should be a picture of Doxa on the page. Doxa is, in my mind, my opinion, and hopefully you will share that opinion if you ever see one or touch one or wear one. Doxa is dive watch. These guys define dive watch. Everything about them screams single purpose. From the bracelet, which is solid, absolutely no give in that bracelet. No cheapness in that bracelet. The double lock, fold over, clasp, plenty of room on the bracelet. I think it has a dive extension. I'm not sure if this one does. I know the newer ones do. I think this one does. Yes, it does. There it is. There's the wetsuit extension that disappears beautifully into the clasp. Solid construction, all stainless steel. This particular one is one of the Kussler limited editions. It's a 750 750T. It's one of their professional lines. All the orange ones are professional. They make different lines based on the color of the watch. This one is the professional, which are always the orange face. And it has the most unique bezel of all the dive watches. You will see this bezel on no other dive watch. It is a dive table. It tells you not only how, what minutes you are for a dive watch, but how long you can stay under based on the depth. So at say 190 feet right there, your bottom time is 4 minutes. At 150 feet, it's 6 minutes. At, what is that there? 110 feet, your bottom time is 20 minutes. And the bezel is beautifully made, beautifully smooth, 120 click, Swiss made, Swiss movements. It's built like a tank. Screw down back, screw down crown. Signed, of course. It's just an indestructible or near indestructible dive watch. It is what a dive watch needs to be, especially with this unique 2 Doxa bezel. I have not. Now there may be other dive watches out there that have the minutes and the bottom time in feet on them. I haven't seen one, so I can't speak to whether they exist or not. But to me, is my knowledge, that's unique to Doxa. This is dive watch. If you are going to be a serious collector of dive watches, you need a Doxa in your collection. And over here, I have one of my favorite overall watches because of the color, but also because of the quality. This is a Squale 1521. What is it? 30? I can't see. My eyesight's going. 30 Atmos, I think. In the azul coloring, which is gorgeous, gorgeous blue. I have never seen another watch with this kind of blue. Just a beautiful, I mean, just glows blue. I need a thesaurus to come up with the right adjectives to describe the blue. But it is absolutely gorgeous. And Squale have been making dive watches forever. And a 50 Atmos. I'm sorry, it's a 50, not 30. My bad. Beautifully made. Just solid dive watch. Love the mesh bracelet, the shark mesh bracelet. And again, another, if you're going to be serious about collecting dive watches, you need a Squale. Just a beautiful watch, and rugged. Will wear very well. And of course, and this would be a great starter watch. Now, oh, by the way, before I get to this one, Squale, you can probably grab one of these for under $1,000 on the used market, right around $1,000 for a new one. The Doxas ain't cheap, folks. They don't even make the 750T anymore, but a typical professional, the orange face, the professional, I think they do the 1200 and the 1500T, maybe even higher ratings. These are over $2,000 new. Used, you'll probably find them in the 1500 to 2000 range, or they could even be much higher depending on the rarity of the particular one. But Doxa ain't cheap, but it will last you forever. And of course, everybody knows about the Seiko dive watches, the turtles, the patty turtles, the samurais, the tunas, the sumos. But how about the good old SKX 007? You can get these new for about $200. Now, the movement is an older movement. It doesn't hack. It doesn't hand wind. You have to shake it. You have to move it around. You have to wear it to keep it wound up. I've got this one on a winder when I'm not wearing it. But it is a true 200-meter dive watch. Crown guards, screw down crown, screw down case. You know, it is a real dive watch. It's a solid tool watch. And this is one of the most moddable watches of all time. I mean, I've got it on a Strapco Super Oyster band. I've got a different bezel on it. The bezel insert. What I've done is I bought a couple extra SKX 007 bezels. I popped the black trim ring out, and I found different colored rings to put in there with the actual adhesive. You can buy them on the internet. I have a green one, I have an orange one, I have a blue one, I've got a couple of silver ones that really look nice. So every once in a while when the mood strikes me, pop the bezel off. You can see where I've chewed up the case a little bit doing that. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to pop off, especially if you don't know what you're doing the first couple of times, but can be done, easy to put back on. All you do is just get it in place and press it, and it'll go click, click, and it's done, and it works. I like the green one. Goes well with the black face. But an SKX 007 is going to be a really inexpensive, easy way to jump into the dive watch collecting. And it's twin the SKX 009, which has the Pepsi bezel. You put those two in your collection, it's a good way to start a dive watch collection. And you can wear them every day. They wear well. They're accurate. You just can't wind them. You have to keep them moving, or they stop. And they're not hackable, which, if that's important to you, either find one that is hackable, like a turtle, or modify the watch with a different movement. Which there's a whole cottage industry for modifying these watches. Anyway, those are my ideas for trifectas of dress business, daily wear, dive. I have a lot more in each category in my collection, but I thought these would be good examples of how to start such a collection if you wanted to. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to ask you, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Comments down below. I answer all comments. Please keep them respectable or I will delete you. And if you like the videos, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon next to it as well, so that when I put up new videos, you're alerted. If you have ideas on this category, I'd love to hear them. So would my viewers. Put them down in the comments. We'll talk about it. But for now, I'm going to wrap her up. Say thank you for watching and see you next video.